For that, on the Judiciary Committee, we always turn to the leadership of Lucy McBath, who leads our subcommittee on crime and criminal justice and has been a leading champion in the country to turn around the nightmare of gun violence. So please welcome Lucy McBath.
Well, good morning. I want to thank our Gun Violence Prevention Task Force Chair, Mike Thompson, for convening today's press conference, as well as Whip Clark, and also Congresswoman Kelly and our colleagues for standing with us. And of course, all of the volunteers, all of those who work so hard on the ground every single day to make our community safe. Thank you all for being here. As we continue our observation of Gun Violence Prevention and Awareness Month, today is a very, very important anniversary. 4 years ago, President Biden signed the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act into law, making a new chapter in our fight against gun violence. This new law made generational investments in community violence intervention programs and gun violence prevention programs all across the country. Investments that have saved countless lives in communities across every state in this nation. The Bipartisan Safer Communities Act expanded background checks for gun buyers under the age of 21. It narrowed the boyfriend loophole and allowed states to use federal funds to implement red flag programs, which would allow family and law enforcement to petition our courts to intervene when an individual poses a threat to themselves or to others. The decline in gun homicides we have seen in the last several years is a direct result of these investments and new federal programs. I was extremely proud to work with Chairman Thompson, Whip Clark, and Congresswoman Kelly, the entire Democratic caucus, and across the aisle to champion these legislative solutions. We know that more than 100 Americans are killed by gun violence every single day in America. And gun violence is the leading cause of death for our children. The American people deserve bipartisan solutions to this public health epidemic, but yes, it is a public health crisis. That means we must also be very candid about what the Trump administration is doing to roll back our progress in this fight. Not only has the president shuttered the first ever White House Office of Gun Violence Prevention, this administration has gone after many of the programs and investments that I just described, which have been saving lives in every part of the country. Gun violence does not discriminate based upon political party. Every single one of us in Congress has a responsibility to our constituents to address what is truly a public health crisis. Many of you know why I came to Congress. My son Jordan was taken from me in a senseless act of gun violence, and that loss drives me to do everything that I do here in Washington, preventing other families from feeling the pain. That is the core of my work. And there is no more urgent intersection to address than that of firearms and domestic violence. Every day, survivors of domestic violence are navigating a very terrifying reality. They are calculating risks and trying to keep themselves and oftentimes their children safe and alive. Too often, the most dangerous moment in an abusive situation is when a victim tries to leave, when an abuser reaches for a gun. The majority of intimate partner homicides involve a firearm. That is why, in the face of this administration's attacks on the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, I am proud to be the lead sponsor of the Federal Extreme Protection Order Act. Red flag laws simply save lives. They empower our loved ones. They give law enforcement the tools to intervene before tragedy strikes. The Federal Extreme Risk Protection Order Act would give families and law enforcement the ability to petition a court upholding due process to temporarily temporarily remove firearms from someone who's showing signs of being in crisis and exhibiting dangerous behavior. It is a common sense, court supervised, due process protected tool that bridges the gap when existing laws fall short. The Trump administration has moved to weaken federal protections that keep guns out of the hands of convicted domestic abusers. And that is reckless. That is dangerous. And it runs directly counter to what survivors need. We should be strengthening the safety net around victims of domestic violence, not tearing it down. During Gun Violence Prevention and Awareness Month, we are calling on our Republican colleagues to bring this bill to the floor for a vote. The American people deserve better. Survivors deserve better. And families in pain, they deserve better. And they deserve to see that Congress is fighting for them. I again want to thank Chairman Thompson, the Gun Violence Prevention Task Force, Whip Clark, and Congresswoman Kelly, and all those that have supported us here today. Thank you for being part of this fight and for championing solutions that truly will save lives. Together, we'll make these life-saving tools available to everyone in this country and take steps to support our survivors, our families, no matter what zip code they live in. Together, we will protect the American people. We have charged ourselves to do that, and we're grateful to do so.